That has worked. He's got the Observer going in before the Reaver. This is what he did last game too, but he's actually saved the Observer, so adequate micromanagement going on here. The Reaver is about to land, but there's a tank sieged up, so the Reaver's not going to be able to do anything. Brat is well aware of this shuttle above him. He knows that there's a Reaver inside it, because he's seen the support bay. Brad's actually got a flying engineering bay and barracks around his base just to scout out for if the shuttle comes in a different direction.
Really gutsy play from Brad here. 2 factories and then a 3rd base.
Yeah, but he knows that
with a ramp there. Yeah.
He knows that NonY hasn't really committed to too many units. Although I agree with you, NonY could bring those 8 Dragoons over and put some pressure on because of the ramp. Yeah, but regardless, those tanks are there now, so it's a bit late for NonY to do anything at this point. NonY's still keeping a shuttle there. I guess he just wants to keep it as a threat, just to try and force Brat to play a bit more carefully than he otherwise would, because Brat's just been all-out offense and pressure so far, and this game is turning into one where both players are sticking to their side of the map rather than the last game where Brat was over at NonY's side for the whole time. NonY now getting his own 3rd base and actually walling off the back door with pylons, so that's good to see. But I think NonY would be wise to just keep that shuttle hanging around and maybe move in to do some harassment with it when some action actually happens, and in the meantime he can just wait for Brat to do some action while going for something in space. And there's the double starport, so, and probe going for a, let's have a look. There's the fleet beacon, so same plan again, exactly the same.
A better map for it, probably. It's interesting, NonY seemed to be really outside of his comfort zone in the last game, and I wonder if Brat's actually noticed that and he's just kind of exploiting it for all he can, like press really fast 3rd base.
Yeah, it seems as though maybe like NonY has just been practicing his PVT, and he's got this build down. He must have just been practicing this build because it seems to be the one best for his style. He's still got the shuttle just hanging around, but he hasn't wasted it yet. It's just that it seems to have passed the point where he can do any significant damage with it. Brat just adding to his unit count. I mean, Brat surely must be having a sense of deja vu as well. I mean, he's seen all the same things that he did last game. He must be expecting those carriers, given what we saw last game. So I'm sure we'll see a scan go off in NonY's base before long. NonY has just got not very much gas at all, but I still can't see any Goliaths yet from Brat, so maybe he's just assumed that NonY's not going to go for carriers 2 games in a row, but if you keep that assumption up for too long, then maybe he will be overwhelmed by carriers. Who knows?
Yeah, again, NonY is actually quite, I actually couldn't really say late, but I'm surprised he didn't go for his 4th base earlier, when he knows that Brat's actually taken his 3rd. Oh, I assume he knows Brat's taken his 3rd.
Yeah, what we're seeing now from Brat is mines going out in the middle of the map, and we'll see the tanks lifting off to just secure this elevated area at the top left middle area of the map. He's got vultures heading in now, but that Reaver has actually defended him adequately, so it's quite nice that NonY's using Reaver for purpose other than harassment. He's actually got a defensive Reaver, not one that you see very often in TVP. But yeah, just this is the point in the game where you see both players sort of push out a bit. NonY's going for his expansion at the bottom right, Brat's taking the top left. The carriers are arriving. Just looking at Brat's factories, he still isn't making Goliaths, he still isn't upgrading range. He is almost finished +1 weapons, and just moving out with a large force. So maybe he's looking to do a push with this, but NonY's got his shuttle with the Reaver intact, he's got goons, he's got upgraded zealots, and he's got 2 carriers. And in fact, no, Brat is not even pushing up. Brat is actually just securing his side of the valley across the middle diagonal of the Bluestorm map. And yeah, maybe he still hasn't even scouted carriers, so it could be too late. Well, the carriers have showed up now, so now's the time for Brat to do something about it. But conversely, different to the last game, NonY is managing to secure himself a 3rd gas now, and he's going to be able to get a 4th. if Brett doesn't do anything about it. So I've got to say that Noni's in a much stronger position than he was doing this build last game.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many tanks Noni's actually going to be able to take out, because if he takes out enough, then he's just going to be able to waltz right in there with his Goon Zealot and possibly take the game right there.
This does indeed look to be what he is doing. He's got the carriers going in first, and here come the Zealots and Dragoons now. There's a bit of a pathing block with them, but there's definitely a lot of them.
And the Reaver, yeah.
Reaver just got taken out. Yeah, it's just kind of hard to keep it going in the middle of a big firefight like that. But Noni is actually looking really strong. Brett could be in a bit of trouble here because he's down to his last 2 tanks, and he's only got 3 Goliaths and a couple of turrets to deal with these carriers. Even though Noni's only got 2 carriers, he's got another 2 on their way, and 2 more being produced at home. His 4th base is secure. Brad's barely got his 4th base up, and things seriously looking bad for Brad at this point, because Noni's army is huge. Noni's got 4 carriers, and Brad is actually going to be forced to build a very weak mix of units at this point. He's only just finished Goliath range, and with the carriers just floating over the Protoss army like that, carriers are just so difficult to deal with, and when they've got Dragoon support below, and those 2 tanks are just not going to be enough to kill the Dragoons. We've got Zealots coming in to deal with the tanks, and seriously, this looks like it's all over for Brat, so looks like we're going to be going into a 3rd game tiebreaker on Zodiac. But wow, what do you think went wrong there for Brat?
That was just insane timing from Noni. I was talking earlier about how I was surprised that Noni didn't go for an earlier 4th base, but I think that was his answer, was basically just sticking on the 3 base for a while to build up a massive army, and just hit him right when his carriers came out and started taking out tanks, and that worked perfectly. That was really nice.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Great timing there, and as I said before, it seems as though Noni's really practiced the timing of this build, really, and fine-tuned it, and he's expecting to play, I mean, people like, because he knew that this group featured 2 Terran players, and yeah, no doubt he was really practicing this particular build in these maps, and it's really worked from this game. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. We'll have Game 3 for you shortly. Game 3 will determine who wins, and actually moves into the TSL, the actual proper TSL round playoff. So thanks, Fonger. Let's get ready for Game 3 shortly.